the presentation ends, we'll just set everything up there, so that you can enjoy your snack break on the corridor. Unfortunately, we don't have any drinks today, and we can't really do much here, like right now. But I hope that we'll manage to do something. Just go to the after party. That's a good way to solve this problem. And after the snack break, Piotr will tell us a little bit about UUIDs. And after Piotr's presentation, there are lightning talks. So lightning talks are quick presentations where anyone can pick up the microphone, display some slides, and talk about anything interesting that you've learned, you've found out, or you've researched, or you've done, or if there's any other event. You can take the microphone, and for the 5 minutes, the scene is yours. And anyone can do that. We already have 3 lightning talks written. The first one about local DevX on server, the second one about Pandora's box, and the third one about NFC flag market. So these are the 3 lightning talks that we are sure that will be there. But if any of you, maybe let's ask another way. Is anyone also interested here? Okay, so we have 4th lightning talk, 5th, 6th. Who gives more? Okay, so we will have plenty of lightning talks today. No, it works. It works. No worries. And after that, we're going to an after party to Infusia, which is really nearby. It's really hard to get lost on the way there. And yes, and I wanted to ask a question: who here is interested in going for an after party? Okay, quite a few. I will be asking this question during majority of the breaks, and usually the more times I ask this question, the more people raise their hands. So let's hope for that. And before we jump into the presentation, I would just quickly say 2 words. And first of all, I'm the presenter today, but I wanted a loud round of the applause for all of the organizers. Let's thank them. And Pykonik is organized by multiple people who work in their free time to set up the meetings, to set up the space, to set up all the cables, so to set up the screen and everything. And it is a well-deserved applause. And I also wanted to say thank you to a few other patrons and sponsors of this meeting. The main sponsor of the event is Splunk. And Janusz, do you want to say something? No, that's good. Okay, so and thanks to Splunk, we have the snacks for the snack break. So when you will be eating all those delicious things, you can think about Splunk. You don't have to, but you can. Yeah. So thanks, Splunk. Another sponsor of this meeting is JetBrains. Thanks to JetBrains, there is a competition on our Discord, which I will tell about in a second. And there are 2 professional PyCharm licenses to win, or any other professional license for any JetBrains tools. And we also have 2 partners, Cosmo, Politechnika Krakowska. Thanks to them, we're in this lovely venue where everyone can see the screen clearly. Watch out your steps when you're going down the stairs, though. I nearly fell today. And last but not least, here on the streaming, we're like surrounded with the screens, and they all work. And last but not least, for me, I will you to our sponsor, by and it's competition on the channel. The post with most reactions wins PyCharm license. The 2 posts with the most reactions. So if you want to take part in this competition, just post anything that you find interesting on the Pykonik 71 Discord channel. And that's it from me. So I'm giving the microphone to the first speaker and welcome him with a loud applause.
Okay, give me a second to set up. Actually, this works. Awesome. But this one can come in handy. Okay, let's see if the thingy works. Okay. Oh, my stopwatch. So I asked the guys for the time they should throw tomatoes at me. So, and this is my best shirt. So, I don't know, a mouthful of a title. But actually, the one that we want to know is, oh, the thing almost works, and how to get back. Remember that one. That may be not the main one, the second one.
Use the preview on the table. This one has a delay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, let's go through a journey. It will be a journey to hell and back. And at any other journey, we will not start like Frodo going to the Mordor. We will actually start in Mordor. Throwing the ring into the pits of Mordor is just the beginning for us. And how it all started? It all started with a brainstorming vortex. Okie doke. Big boss guy. We have a new project. And we have some requirements. You have to end it in 3 months. I know, it's not a lot. But I have some awesome thing called Django Oscar. It's an e-commerce framework for Django. You will just use that, and everything will just work out fine. Yeah. But there's a caveat to it. Django Oscar, as any e-com software, works only for a single merchant. You install it on your server, run your shop there, and yeah, you're good. But yeah, we have to serve to multiple merchants, multiple clients on a single instance. So yeah, what we can do about it? Brainstorm session. Let's dump Oscar. Yeah, a valid choice. Okay, definitely started to work. Let's have our merchants to actually have multiple instances. So we will have instance for every merchant. Still valid choice. And let's use Django tenants. You probably know how this look like. Yeah, the answer to our upcoming, I wouldn't say 3 months. I wouldn't say 3 months. This is how it's supposed to look like. This is the Gandalf giving Frodo big eagles to fly away to the Mordor and dump the eagles to fly away to the Mordor and dump the ring to the pit. But we all know that Frodo didn't receive their big awesome eagles at the beginning. So what actually happened? This actually happened. There was a decision. We are going with Django tenants. And yeah, he was an employee of the month. But what is this mythical multi-tenancy? Okay, how many of you know the concept of multi-tenant databases? Raise hands. Okay, the rest of you probably know it, but don't know that it's called multi-tenant databases. So yeah, if anyone can make any sense out of this, you're a genius. I envy you. I can't. You're a genius. I envy you. I can't. So how this look like in a real world with some dumb guy actually describing what it means. So for dummies like me, single tenant database here is a scenario when all of our clients have their own databases. All of the data belongs to them, and there's no one else using the database apart of them. This is quite a valid case. Most of mobile apps works like that. So you have some SQLite installed with the app on your phone, and you are storing only your data there, supposedly. Not always. And this is also a case for big enterprise clients. When they are like spending a ridiculous amount of cash to your company to actually host their databases on a separate machine, on the separate VPSs, whether they want to be separated from anyone else apart from them. So it's still quite a good case and brings a lot of money. But 95% of all services, all startups, you name it, work in the second schema. When I will use a little simplification here. Let's assume that we have a monolithic service connected to a single database, and we are storing every data of our merchants in a single database. So you probably did it, you probably saw it. This is a pretty much default scenario. And this is actually a multi-tenant database. Yeah, I said, you all probably know it, but you didn't know that it's called multi-tenant database. So, okay, we have the base stuff covered. We know how the single database looks like, how the multi-tenant database looks like. And the thing worked awesome. Okay. This is probably something that you would, if I ask any one of you about example of a database in any of your school projects, if any of your project is in work, in any of your hobby projects, it will probably more or less look like this. We have clients, we have a base, and every table has some user ID, tenant ID, whatever that we use. And in every SQL statement or Mongo query, we will like ask, okay, give me all of the names of the tenant ID one that I have stored in the session. Okay, I don't care, and I shouldn't even know about tenant ID 2 in scope of this one session. So everything is great. Yeah, true. So, second example. We are talking about schema-based tenancy. What the schema prefix actually means. We still have a single database. We still have multiple clients connected to the single database. But let's spot the difference. Yeah, where's Wally? Yeah, precisely. Oh, quite near it, because schema. Usually we store our table schemas. And in multiple schema approach, schema. So every schema will consist of 10 tables. My migration process. Here, hello. Text to public schema. Hey, public schema, you know what? I have a new awesome tenant. And you know what? I'm grabbing you for a beer. We are sitting there for 30 minutes, and you will create his schema. And also, I will log all of you. So I will be sure that the data you are correct. Yeah. I took the public schema for himself. Second, try to write to the column, but still read from the old one. Third one, drop the first column and switch everything to the new column. Thanks to that, the code is still backward compatible. It can work with the new chapter. We created a dev environment for ourselves. We have staging, we have local hosts, we have production, but we didn't have a working dev environment. We created one for ourselves. We created a whole lot of data-based dashboards, monitoring the CPUs, monitoring the RAM, monitoring the slow query log, anything that could be suspicious. We were knowing that even before it started. And how we actually overcome the Fini. When we got everything stabilized, so we have parallel deployments. We monitor the database. We boost the database, so we trick it to actually treat the AWS disk as SSDs. We squeeze everything that we could from the queries. We started to actually migrate. We squash all the old migrations to become one huge migration that will just create the schema, the base one. We prepared the database for the big migration to actually delete all of the schemas and move everything up. Oh, don't think that I forget about this one. The problem is, I saw in the agenda that there will be a UUID talk, so the guy saying it is probably way smarter than I, so I wouldn't even tell what UUIDs are, because I will show that I'm actually dumb, which I actually are, yeah. But every table has an int index. What would you get with 5,000, for example, pizza toppings table, and each of them are starting from 1 to n. Duplication, 5,000 of duplicates. So in the process, we had to switch from int indexes to UUIDs. And to be a little bit smart, so we didn't have the duplicates when we will merge everything to one classes database. And how does this look like? We score the migrations, prepare the database for the big migration, deploy the new code, and actually, all of the things that we did took us less than 3 hours. We had the 3-hour window to do that. And guess what? None of our clients cared. None of our clients even saw that something is happening. Yeah. What I could say about this is one of the messages that I sent precisely after the process. What's fun here? Look how our request time dropped with the same traffic. It's at scale. So this is our P50, P95 request times. And at scale, this is something that we achieved after moving. So we are like 60, 70% faster than anything. So our peak is at our P50 before. Yeah, there's a lot of drift here. So if you want to read it. But what else happens? What were the key results of actually ditching the schema-based approach? We were able to deploy faster. Before, when we were at schema-based databases with Django, we can deploy once per 3 months because this was so horrific. Nobody wanted to do that. After that, deploys took 10 minutes, even after tripling the client's count. And everybody wanted to do that because it was like, forget about it. We can stability, easier debugging, simplify of development. Oh, I'm seeing tomatoes coming my way, so there's more. We can onboard more merchants, like infinite of them. At least what we say to product guys. System became more stable, frequent deployments, and we, as bonus, get at their environment. And guess what? We didn't have to eat donkey. Our clients had their sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, but they kept donkey. That's all, folks. Any questions? And I'm fine. Yep. Okay?
Okay, so if I understood correctly, you started with the multiple schemas, then introduced the concept of client in the schema, so that was one-to-one mapping basically.
Yeah.
And then you migrate all of the schemas to one database that has clients instead of having multiple schemas, right? So that was that's why your UUID don't have collision between those identifiers and the schemas, right?
Precisely, because at the end, what we wanted to achieve, we wanted to have one schema, the public one, with the same tables, but the data from all of the old schemas moved to it. So when we were moving multiple things, you know that they would lie because every index starts from one. So even given that, when you will start to move everything to a single table, for example, to make small, like let's try to move big topics to one single table. Before that, you have those the same topics with the same IDs indexes, and we had to distinguish them. We had to distinguish that okay, those topics are for method 1, those topics are for method 2, and things like that. That's why every schema before the move had UID assigned, and we know they don't like, so it will be a fast and easy transfer. Yeah.
Okay, so we can handle collisions.
How we prevent the collisions.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was some theory around it. But I think that the colleague that has the next agenda will tell us a little more about UIDs. But in general, we had some UID concept that moved in with some salt, with some pizza base and toppings, and made a distinguished unique pizza with it. I don't want to tell too much because probably the next person here will talk about the uniqueness of UIDs. So you will probably get an answer there. Because the uniqueness of the UIDs is a part of the UID itself. And you can achieve that. So I don't want to say that because, as I said, probably the next person standing here is way smarter than I, and I don't want to ruin their presentation saying something stupid. And he would actually have to say, okay, forget what this dumb guy here said, it's not valid. So I'm just waiting. Any questions? Maybe someone any questions? Here?
Thank you. Okay, so I have a question about the actual scale of the data and database. This is the first question. So, like physically, how many gigabytes of data is there, roughly? And you said you are prepared for infinite information, so I'm wondering, like, do you have any idea at what number, like at what scale you're going to get issues again? And then I have another question maybe after the...
Yes, the infinite number of merchants is a bit for product guys. Something actually can bring more clients. But that's even more... that is something I forgot to mention, so thank you. Before the migration, database itself was like 2 terabytes, maybe more. After the migration, we went down to 100 gigabytes because every schema had to allocate enough space for itself, even if it was empty. So we still own 2 terabyte disk, but we shrank to 150 gigs. We can scale. And even if we will pass to the first terabyte, so we also have a second one, we can shard. Because having multiple schemas, it's hard to shard the database. Because there's always had to be a single common public schema that knows in which shard the schema lives. Okay, so maybe the second one, if you
Yeah, sure. So I want to ask some question about migrations because you said that now you squeeze them all. So do you squeeze them every time you create a migration, or do you squeeze all migrations at some point in time and the migrations are new?
we squeeze all the migrations at some point in time, at the point of the actual big migration. Because so the let's call it new system will start with a single migration. The proper big one creates all of the things. But afterwards, we went with normal Django migrations incrementally because we didn't care. They were taking a while. There was a slide that probably or no.
Okay.
The migrations process took 3 to 5 seconds each time afterwards.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Right? No problem. Anything else?
I have one question
Yeah.
about the previous design of the schemas.
Yep.
Did you try to run any Django admin or any like admin tools where you try to identify, which of your tenants has some specific information? Wasn't that problematic for you?
We didn't use the Django admin itself. To some extent, it worked because the Django tenants was actually supporting it. So you could run the full Django admin with the tenants when you have a tenant selector, see the tenant list and things like that, because the tenant list was in the public schema itself. So you could do stuff, but actually knowing which schema field, grabbing that from the migration process running in CI/CD, actually going to the Django admin, that probably stopped work because trying to run Django with faulty migration without the restoration point, because the problem with the multi-schema are the points are per schema, because the transaction is per schema. We cannot roll out every one of each that, but this is a manual process. You can run a shell script saying from that point revert everything, but it wouldn't happen automatically. Okay. Any online questions? Yep, here. There's actually questions. Love that.
Yeah, I was wondering if you consider maybe using Django sites framework, because I thought that maybe it's something that tries to solve a similar problem to what you were describing.
Yes or no? Yes and no. No, because at that point of time, it didn't exist. Or it was like very small, and the guy that proposed Django tenant said it will solve all of our problems, and the guys actually said, okay. So no, afterwards, no. The decision was made that we will go with Django tenant, and we saw that we want to go back. We don't want anything else that we don't know yet, because we can see other problems that we are not prepared of. We know how to get back. We had a solid plan to do that, and we just want to execute and forget about schemas at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any questions more? Some? No? Online questions? No? So, yet again, thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to invite everyone to the 20 to 30 minutes break. We will tell when 5 minutes before the break ends, just in case. And there are snacks waiting for you in the corridor. Please don't bring any food inside this room. The room is allowed only on the corridor. Thank you.